I just recorded this video and it was 30 minutes long, and my screen recording turned off in the middle of it because I accidentally hit space, which pauses that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Before I record this video for a second time, if you could just do me a favor and click the like button, because I'm pretty sure you'll learn a thing or two. Having said that, I need to say that I do like America. I like this country. It's got a lot of pros, but it's also got its cons. And specifically in this video, we're going to be looking at the vacation policies of America and other countries. And when I say vacation policies, I mean things like bereavement leave, sick leave, and then regular vacation leave, public holidays. I'm talking about all sorts of you're allowed to leave your company for a minute, because if you didn't know, in the United States, there is no mandated minimum requirement for vacation at all for anyone. Here is the Wikipedia page of all of the countries, I guess most of the countries in the world, and their leave policies. So this includes paid public holidays and paid vacation days. So if we start right here at the top, we can see Afghanistan has 20 days vacation and 15 paid public holidays, which is a total of 35 days. Now, there are a lot of people in the US which probably wouldn't like to acknowledge that other countries are better than the US. This is just not my mentality, but a mentality carried by people in the United States, where they see these lesser countries somehow being better than them in some way. But like, I just think it's very interesting that most other countries in the world have minimum vacation, which I guess to people in the EU, this is a surprise to you, because you're like, of course, we have 5 weeks vacation. Why wouldn't we? But here in the US, let me show you the United States policies here. So there is no federal or state statutory minimum paid vacation or paid public holidays. Paid leave is at the discretion of the employers to its employees. So this is the American way, right? It's all about freedom here, and freedom means the freedom to offer your employees vacation and the freedom not to. Now, what's really interesting here is that 77% of companies in the United States offer vacation, which, if you think about it, means that there are 33% of the companies in the United States not offering any time off. Like you're zero time off. And there are probably some arguments that you could see from people going like, well, if this dude only works, part-time, a day a week for me, why is he entitled to me paying him for 20 days vacation just because he works for me? And that's like the mentality that we have here. Like, a time off, what is that? Get back to work, peasant. So full-time employees can earn on average 10 vacation days after 1 year of service, and 14 days after 5 years of service, 17 days after 10 years of service, and 20 days after 20 years of service. So if we break that down mathematically, you can see that is 5.479452045% of your life that you get to have back after working 20 years. 20 years to get 5.5% of your year back. Solid. This is zero paid public holidays. So normally in the US, you get an average of 8 holidays per year, and this is like July 4th, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Typically you get the day off after Thanksgiving, but some companies, they don't like to do that, so you got to go to Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then Friday you come in, which is Black Friday, and nobody's doing anything, but you got to come in anyways because they're not paying you for that time off, and then you can go back to the weekend. But decent companies in the US give you the day after Thanksgiving off too, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to come in for a day and then have 2 more days off on the weekend. But I've worked for companies that don't give a lot of holidays. They're like, you get 5, which is like Christmas, New Year's, Martin Luther King Day, July 4th, Labor Day. Is that 5? Maybe that's 4. I don't know. But you don't get a lot. You just don't get a lot here. And you can scroll through and you can see these countries here that have tons and tons of vacation. Now, I have to say that I have lived in the United States and I have lived in Finland, both of which are very, very, very different places. Most people in the US would say that Finland is a socialist country. It's a democratic socialist country, and they don't like that. At least people in the US, they don't like that socialism or anything like that. And then I've lived in the United States, and which is obviously a very capitalist country. So I've seen both sides here. I'm somewhere in the middle between the two. Like, can we have some balance? Like, some of this makes sense, some of this doesn't make sense, but you don't find a whole lot of balance or people being moderate these days. But having seen both sides, it's been insightful for me. But for you guys who haven't seen both sides, for you guys out there that are college students getting ready to jump into the corporate world here in the US, say goodbye to spring break, say goodbye to winter break, say goodbye to summers, because you'll be working a year before you even get 10 days off. That's how it normally goes here in the United States. So you have to work before you even get your vacation. And they accrue over time. And I made a video the other day which included you get 6.5 hours off per month. So it's not even a day off per month. It's and the thing here in the United States is that you don't get sick days, you don't get bereavement, you don't get public holidays, you don't get vacation. They don't have to offer that to you. There's no government regulation here at all, and this isn't me advocating something or other. I'm just showing you guys the information, okay? So don't take this video to be super political. I'm just simply presenting the information. I choose to live here. I don't have any mandated vacation days. I'm self-employed. I post on YouTube for a living, right? So if I work more, hopefully I make more, and then I can balance that with taking some time off, which I then will lose money most likely. And then if I feel comfortable with that, then I'll do that and I'll take some time off. But like for people that aren't in control of their day or their income like that, if you're working a regular salary job, you don't have that kind of choice. You're just stuck with whatever the company is offering you. And another thing here in the US is when companies offer you vacation, it's like they're doing you this crazy favor. They present the vacation policy to you as if it's on a little soft pillow, and they're just like, here's some time off to you, and then like you're supposed to be extra thankful for just them allowing you to not work for a minute. And it's, to me, that mindset has always been a little crazy. If we look at Finland, since I've lived there, let's scroll back up here for a second. You can see here they get 25 mandatory minimum 5 weeks vacation. Now some companies offer even more than the government minimum of 5 weeks vacation. They'll offer you 6 or 7 weeks. Now when I lived there in the summertime, Finland basically takes the entire month of July off because that's like the warmest month. It's nice out. It doesn't get dark, especially if you're in the northern part of Finland. And they get 11 public holidays that makes a total of 36 days off per year. And now that's just minimum. No matter what job you're at, you get like 10% of the year off in vacation, minimum, just regulated. Now it sounds kind of nice, right? It is pretty nice, but there is a different way of living in Finland, and you'd have to be comfortable with that as well. Now, a lot of people from Germany watch my channel. We can come down here. We can see they give a 20 days minimum, 10 days for public holidays, which is a total of 30. It's just interesting. You guys should go look at this page and see all these other countries offering or I guess mandating vacation. But here in the good old US, it's freedom to choose to offer it and freedom to choose to not. And so like you guys can take that for what it is, but personally I think it's kind of funny when these other countries that most Americans would think as below the US, and again, this is not my mindset, but just go watch news channels and go talk to people. And those, you can kind of get the vibe of what they think. Oh, there's other countries besides America. Yeah, they might have more vacation, but like, and that's how they rationalize it. And this is just an American thing. Again, it's not my mindset, okay? But I think it's interesting when these other countries, for lack of a better word, maybe do it a little better, offer a little more, respect their people a little more. So again, don't take this video as me like advocating for something. I'm just presenting the information and my opinion on it. I still choose to live here in the United States because I like all the other things that I can get there, and there's pros and cons to each place. So take it for what it is. But I think this is very informational for people that want to come to the U.S. and work. I think it's very important that you guys understand that there is no minimum vacation or paid time off for you at all. Like it just doesn't exist, and this is probably pretty surprising. You don't get sick days, you don't get vacation, you don't get bereavement. There's none of that. The only thing that's federally mandated is FMLA, which is Federal Medical Leave of Absence, which isn't paid vacation. It's just getting permission from your company to take time off to be sick while you're not paid for that time off. So here in the US, if you get sick and you have to leave, they're not paying you for that. And FMLA just prevents you from being fired for being sick, which they can still kind of go around by finding other reasons to fire you. But here in the US, you have to ask for permission to not come into work, to not be paid, and also have a job when you're not sick anymore and come back. And that's the only thing really that we have. It's up to the companies to decide what they want to give you. And so obviously they're going to give you the minimum amount possible. And now everyone here in the US has just kind of accepted that as it is what it is. And so you get 10 days. Wow, that's pretty good. And if you look by comparison, it's really not that good. Now there is this other meme here in the United States called unlimited paid time off, which you see all these tech companies doing, especially in Silicon Valley. And the only way unlimited paid time off works is if you have a minimum amount of paid time off. There have been studies that have been done, I'll have to go find them and link them, that show that companies with unlimited paid time off end up with employees taking less time off than people that have like 10 days vacation offered to them by companies. And the reason is because you don't know how much time you can take off. You know, if it's unlimited vacation, work 2 days a week and take 3 weeks off, 3 months off, right? It's unlimited, right? You're going to fire me for that? So it's kind of a little bit of a joke that companies try to pull on you because nobody knows how much time they can take off without being fired. But they do say, take the time as you need it. Well, I need about 6 months right now. That's what I need. And the company's obviously going to fire you for that. Now, the real meme here is that the reason companies offer unlimited paid time off is because they don't have to pay you out for vacation if you quit the company. So companies that offer you 10 days vacation and you have banked that 10 days vacation, you usually get paid out for those 10 days as if it was like an extra paycheck or something when you leave. Now, if you don't have anything banked up because it's unlimited, you know, we don't accrue here, then they don't have to pay you out. And that makes things a lot cheaper for companies. So again, the only way unlimited paid time off works is if you have a minimum amount that people are required to take. Like it's unlimited, but you still have to take 2 weeks off every year. Like they're forcing you minimum to take 2 weeks. And then after that, it's still unlimited and you can take the time as you need it. So some companies out there, they're probably pretty chill. You can take a month or two off a year. And as long as things are good at the company, then you're good to go. But a lot of these companies do it as kind of, it's a psychological thing. People end up taking less. You can go look it up if you don't believe me. Now, some companies not in the US offer a sabbatical. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically if you work at a company for like 5 or 10 years, they give you an entire year off at like 65% of your salary. To take that time off, to do what you need to do, and figure out your life, and just recoup and be who you are again. I don't know. Whatever you do with sabbaticals, they offer that. Now, here in the U.S., that's almost unheard of, right? When I was in Finland, I knew someone who was on a sabbatical. He's like, yeah, I just worked there for 10 years, so they gave me a 2-year sabbatical, which means he's just getting paid 65% of his salary for 2 years to do whatever he wants. And for people, again, here in the U.S., that's unheard of. Like, you'd be lucky to be able to get a pension here in the United States anymore. And pensions, even then, they're kind of a meme. They can promise you a pension. If you work here for 20 years, you get, you know, X amount of money for the rest of your life, but they can fire you at any time because in the US, there is no notice period required. They can fire you at any time and you can quit at any time. So you get to 19 years when you're about to get that pension. Hey, you're fired. Sorry, no pension. You almost made it to 20 years, though. A lot of companies do this. Happened to people in my family that I personally know. It's like my dad was almost about to get pension. He was like 25 years. He was there for like 23, 24 years. Just about to get pension. Sorry, bro. Fired. You know, if companies could get away with not paying you to do their job, they would do it because it's all about profit to them. Like if they didn't have to give you a single penny and they could get you to come into work, they would do it. And that's why they try to offer you all these other things to get your mind off of money. Free food, perks, culture, parties, whatever, right? It's just take your mind off of the money. That's not what's important, okay? It's all about how you feel when you come to work and the camaraderie and core values. And like if they could get you to do it without paying you, they would. And it's the same. If they could get you to work without vacation, they would. And that's the only reason that companies in the United States offer vacation. It's not because they usually care. It's because they have to compete with the other companies that said, hey, you know what? We'll offer you some time off. So now the other companies are like, oh, really? Okay, if we want them, I guess we have to offer something. All right, give them, what, 10 days? Is that good? But make the 10 days a mix-up of sick leave, vacation, and bereavement. That way, it's not actually 10 days vacation. It's just a total time off that we can give them. Which brings me to the next part of this video, which is bereavement leave, which is when you take a day off to go, be at a funeral or someone passed away, a tragic event happened, and you need time away. So there's this entire article that doesn't need to exist, but in America, for some reason, this is how we roll here. It is 6 templates for how to ask your employer for a bereavement leave. You shouldn't have to ask for bereavement leave here in the United States. You just say, hey, someone died, I'm going to go to the funeral. You can't do that. You might risk your job. And listen to the advice here. Your employer's known position on bereavement leave, because some people don't even have it. Some people don't have anything in their handbook about you being able to leave to go to a funeral, because, or you might get written up for that. Who exactly will you be talking to? It doesn't, I guess the only important thing is that you tell them that you're not going to be there. Have evidence of your reason for bereavement leave, because companies out here in the United States are just such garbage. They want proof that someone died. So you have to provide them with an obituary, the funeral home note, or I don't know. You shouldn't have to provide any proof. Like if someone passed away and it's personal and tragic, I'm not about to go find all the paperwork to show my company that this is true. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm going to be out. Peace. But here in the U.S., you got to simp. You got to really simp. And here's a question that is completely irrelevant. What is the current situation at work? Who cares? Someone died. It doesn't matter. Most companies have very busy moments at particular times of the year. Or what, are you just supposed to change when people die? Are you just supposed to change when funerals happen? Because you're in control of that, and you should always think of the company first. It might be busy at work. You might not be able to go to that funeral. This is the most American thing that you'll ever hear about. For this reason, you'll need to read the current situation in your workplace. No, life always comes first. If someone passes away, go be with them, grief, do what you need to do. You don't have to justify it or think about how your company is going to be affected, I guess, unless you're self-employed, which then it has a direct impact. But otherwise, life always comes first. Don't consider how busy work is before you go to a freaking funeral. Seriously, like when these events happen, it should remind you that you're mortal and one day will be your last, and you'll never, ever think that you had wished that you had spent more time in the office. It won't be that way. And so for this article to even try and say, think about work first when someone has actually passed away is terrible. But, this is how we do things here. Prove it. You're not taking a step out of that cubicle until you prove it. And that's, I guess that's who this article is aimed at. But this article shouldn't exist because it's just, you should be able to go do this without thinking about if you're going to get fired or not. Because here in the US, like I've said a few times in this video, is we don't get any of this stuff by default. And sick leave is commonly used as vacation leave. I know some people in Germany were watching this going, wait, hold on, you have to use vacation for sick leave? Like at the Langley Federal Credit Union, their policy is that if you get sick with COVID, you have to use your sick days, and if you're still sick, you have to use your vacation days. So again, here in the US, if you get sick for any lengthy amount of time, that is your vacation. Now get back to work, peasant. In Germany, you can't use, you legally can't use vacation days for sick days. Sick days are for being sick, and vacation days are for holiday or doing whatever you need to do. And it's just, companies here in the US, they really like to offer basic things that other countries have as if they're doing you a huge favor. And I guess if you live here and you don't have any other options, it is the way it is, and you have to accept them for what they are. And so when a company's like, here's, health care, you basically have to worship them. But because we don't have, a healthcare system, we have Medicare and Medicaid for the disabled and for people who are lower income and for people who are elderly. But generally, I hope you don't get sick, or you'll probably, number one, be in a bunch of medical debt, and then number two, you'll have used up all of your vacation, and then you'll probably need to go to treatments and doctor's offices, like if you get cancer or something like that, and you won't have any time to be able to do that because you took all your sick time. And then this is just, you can get FMLA, which is unpaid leave to go to your doctor's appointment, where you can rack up more medical debt that you can't pay because you're not getting paid while you're on FMLA, which is, again, unpaid leave, but they just legally can't fire you from the position. You can be sick and come back. But I think this is going to be an eye-opening video for many of you. So please share this video with other people so they know the actual working life of corporate America. I think some people outside the United States have these starry eyes about how it is to work here, and you make so much more money and the taxes are so much lower, and 6 figures everywhere and blah blah blah. But when you start to think about other things, you know, you start to see the pros and cons of it all. And now again, this, I don't know how many times I have to say it. It's not like a political video. It's not me advocating for things. It's just me presenting information and trying to look at both sides evenly, unbiasedly. Obviously, I live here in the U.S. because I like my lifestyle here. I like how I do things, like my house. I like where I live. I like all this stuff. But you know, there are certain things that it just is the way it is, and that's just how it goes here. So anyways, if you learned a thing or two, I hope you did. I feel like a bunch of people in the comments are going to be like, well, time to move to Finland. Well, time to move to Germany. Well, and then all the people in Germany are going to be like, oh, okay. Yeah, so that's, I'm going to stick here in Germany. And so that's the kind of reaction or response that I'm expecting from people who've just never really done the research or lived in like two very different countries like Finland and the United States like I have. But yeah, if you learned a thing or two, again, like the video, share the video around, show people what the reality of working at corporate here is as compared to working in other places, and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I have a Patreon. Link for that is down in the description. It helps keep me doing what I'm doing. I'm going to be adding some more perks and some like uncut footage there. So if you'd like to support the channel and see what it's like behind the scenes before I actually get these videos out, that would help me. And there's some other links down there if you want to check them out. But otherwise, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and learned a thing or two. I'll see you guys in the next one.